Hello everyone. Today we will study chapter 2 Wild Duck and it is written by Ramesh Gunasekera. Before starting, I will tell you about Ramesh Gunasekera. So Ramesh Gunasekera was born in 1954 in Colombo, Sri Lanka. He grew up in Sri Lanka, moving to England in 1971. He lives in London but travels widely for festivals, workshops, and British Council tours. In recent years, he has held writing residencies in Hong Kong, Singapore, Denmark, and in 2004 he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society of Literature. His latest works include The Match 2006, The Prisoner of Paradise 2012, and Noontide Toll 2013. A short introduction to the story. Wild Duck is a story of a father and son. Once they both were out on a hunting trip, and the son was able to shoot Teal, a wild duck, successfully. After all this incident, he got the duck. The duck was alive and he brought it home, treated its wound, and at the same time, there was also a paradigm shift and everything was changed. How all this happened, you will come to know only when you read the chapter. So let's start. They will come from over there. The man pointed at Red Volcanic Hill. He and the boy both had guns resting across their knees. They sat facing each other in a small, motionless boat with the oars tucked in. Are you ready? He asked his son. Yes. They come in clouds, huge clouds, moving very fast. He moved his arm in a wide sweep, rocking the boat. You have to be quick, shoot fast. So, these 10 lines of the story actually contain quite a lot of information. First of all, the two main characters are mentioned. Are you ready? He asked his son. From this simple quote, we can establish the relationship between the two characters as we draw the conclusion that they are in fact father and son. Secondly, a description of the scene is given. The story is initiated by a statement, they will come from over there. The man pointed at a red volcanic hill. Hearing this, we know that the scene takes place outside because of the word hill. And reading the following lines, the location of the two characters is established. They sat facing each other in a small, motionless boat with the oars tucked in. So, two persons sitting in a boat in a lake in a wilderness one late afternoon. Now, judging from the scenery, the two characters are situated in rather isolated location, and we can also figure out what these two persons are doing as they both had guns resting across their knees. The fact that they have brought guns with them tells us that they are on a hunting trip. Now, father and son both are sitting in a motionless boat. Motionless means something that does not move with the oars tucked in. What is the meaning of oars? Oars means a pole with a flat board at one end and it is used to steer the boat. In Hindi, you call it chappo. They come in clouds, huge clouds moving very fast. They means here teal, wild duck. Okay, and father is telling the son that they will come from this side, and come in clouds means They come in such a big group that they cover the whole sky and it looks like a cloud moving very fast. He is saying this, opening his arms out, swifting it wide and curving. And he is also his son, telling his son that he has to be quick and he has to shoot them fast. The boy ran his finger down the cold blue barrel of his gun. Minute by minute, the light changed on the flat surface of the water. Orange, red, mauve speeded from the sky. It was late afternoon, a lake in a wilderness. You loaded? Yes. Remember, aim well ahead. You have to imagine the flight path. To be dead on is not easy, but you have to manage with just one shot. I know. Suddenly, the boy looked up. Is that them? A ribbon of black dots billowed out of horizon. The boy was spellbound, breath whistled out of his small round mouth. Watching birds was his passion. Now, as his father told him to shoot fast, the boy ran his finger down the cold blue barrel of his gun. What does it mean? The boy was ready to shoot and he ran his finger down barrel of his gun. Barrel means the cylindrical part of the gun. Okay. Minute by minute, the light changed on the flat surface of water because, as I told you earlier, they came in a big group. So, definitely, when they will fly above, the color on the surface will change because they are covering the sky, right? So, first, how the color was changing? First, it went from orange, red to mauve seeped. Now, mauve is a light purple color, okay? And what's the time? I have already told you it was late afternoon. Now, father is asking, have you loaded? You loaded means, have you loaded the gun? The boy responded in affirmation. After all this, father is telling his son to aim well and he is telling to hit the target in one shot. And doing it is not easy. To which son responded that he knows all these things. And then suddenly boy looks up and he confirms his father is that them, as it looked like a ribbon of black dot covering the sky coming right out of the horizon. Seeing all this, the boy was charmed and he exhaled in such a way that he whistled because watching the birds was his passion. There must be millions, he exclaimed. Half the sky was covered by teal. Huge clouds of them banged one way, then another, changing the shape of the sky and blotting the light. The sky deepened, the water turned black. Small groups broke away, diving, then rising in perfect formations. In a strong, sudden emotion, the boy said that the teal must be in millions and they are in such a big number that half of the sky was covered by teal. Huge clouds of them banged one way, then another, changing the shape of the sky and blotting the light. So they were flying in such a way that at one time they were elevating one side of the wing and then they were elevating the other side of the wing. And this way they were changing their formations. Now, bloating means to cover. to block the light. Okay, so they were in a big number, they were changing their formation. So because of this thing, they covered the whole sky, and the light that was coming from the sun was also blocked. The water turned black means they covered the light, and everything around the father and the son was black. And then they divided into small groups, and they were diving, then again rising up, and everything was going in a perfect formation. Will they all land here on the lake? They look too high. I think they are aiming for somewhere else. Who decides? They know. Then they were overhead, the sky filled with masses of birds in flight. A flurry of bird calls. Father and son looked at each other. So the birds were diving and then again rising. Because of this thing, the son asks his father that will they land here on the lake. To this, father says that he thinks that they will go somewhere else as they are flying very high. Then son asked, who decides this thing? Whether they will land here or they will go, who makes the decisions? Then father replied that they know whether they have to land or they have to go, they know all these things. And then what happened? Suddenly, they all were right above their heads, and the sky filled with masses of birds in flight. And in a very short time, number of birds were right there, and father and son looked at each other, maybe giving an indication of the right time. Here goes. The man undid his safety catch and started firing, throwing buckshots at the sky. The explosions shook the boat. The lake rippled. He pumped the gun empty. Too high. They are flying much too high. Then father opened a lock in the gun to avoid accidental firing, and then he said here goes, which means when you start doing something with an excitement or as a challenge. So he, after unlocking the safety catch, he started firing, and many small balls of metal he fired at the sky. And because they were in boat, and little movement also could have caused ripple in the lake, so this explosion was quite loud, and this caused rippled in the lake. He shot so many times that he used all his bullets, and the ducks were also flying so high that he missed hitting any of them. His son slowly raised his rifle. He had a more patient and steady hand. He picked a single speck out of the mass in the sky, the leader of a formation flying towards them. He aimed and fired. The speck plummeted, and then it was turn of the sun. He was very patient, and his hands were more firm than his father. And as it was mentioned in paragraph number 11, that they were looking like a ribbon of black dots. So here speck means a spot. And the boy picked one spot out of the mass, and he chose the leader who was following. As in the picture also you can see, the first one is the leader. He chose it and he shot. He aimed well, and the bullet hit the wild duck. After that, the wild duck was dropped sharply on the earth. You got the leader. The man cheered. Another bird swiftly took its place. They were all leaders by instinct. When the son shot the leader, the father was very happy and he cheered that the son got the leader. And when the first bird fell down, the next bird took its place. Now the next bird was leader, and actually they all are leaders because this is the natural way they behave. I want to find it. The boy put down his rifle and took the paddle. Did you see where? After the bird fell down, the boy wanted to see it and he just put down his rifle and moved in the direction where the bird fell. It fell just behind the bulrushes. Go round that way. The boy moved the boat against the tide of teal, still reeling overhead. His arms trembled as he pulled the paddle through the black water. The father told the son that the bird fell behind the bulrushes. Bulrushes are tall plants and it grows in wetland. As the boy was moving the boat, his hands were trembling and he was moving his boat in the opposite direction of the birds. That's it for today, and in the next video I will explain you the remaining part of the chapter. Thank you.